Hello and welcome. Today I have something odd to show you. I was doing some testing and I found if I give myself a water bucket that it's not a normal water bucket. Um, and let me just show you right here. It behaves like normal water where it disperses out like this, not like the normal water where it just kind of like flows like that. It's very odd, but it only happens if you give it to yourself. If I get it from the creative menu, then it'll act like normal water. So I just kind of found this really odd kind of thing, and this kind of seems like a thing that they were going to try to implement into the Aquatic update, you know, with it going through the fences, but that was never included. So it seems like it was programmed in, but then it was taken out. But it's still actually in the game if you give yourself a water bucket, which is very odd. So I did some testing, um, and it pretty much behaves like you would think water to do. It has a bit of visual bugs because it wasn't ever implemented, and some of the sounds are a bit off. But it works like you would think normal water to work, and it got me thinking to doing a bunch of experiments to do with it. So you can see I placed 6 water buckets in here, and it's filled up this 6 block gap in the floor here. And if I place a block here, you can see that it just behaves like normal water, which is really odd. So if I place the 7th bucket in here, you can see it's kind of raising up a bit, but then I just get that block and it's back to how it normally is. So it's odd that this works. So I was doing a bit more testing, and I wanted to do this test right here, where I basically just filled it. Oh, whoops! Where I basically just fill this up with water and then unleash it, and to see what happens. So let me just quickly fill this up. That's good enough, and let it go. And you can see it acts just like realistic water, and it filled up this area here. So then it got me thinking, with the fence gates and stuff, they were trying to make it to go through the fence gates. So let's see if this works, and it does. So it seems like they made realistic water for the Aquatic update. It was just never actually introduced. So you can see I've done a bit more testing of it here, where it's filtering into this tube here and things like that, and it seems to run pretty smoothly, and it seems very fluid, like any liquid should be. So yeah, I've just been doing a few experiments here and there with it, and you can see it actually slows you down and things like that, and it seems to work pretty well. So then I was thinking, how realistic is this water? So my next test, let me just release this water real quick. You can see how realistic it is. So, oh, it went into there. So my next test, of course, was to test it with slime blocks. And it turns out it works. So if I do this, my game is getting a bit laggy, but you can see that it works pretty well. It just boing, and it splashes on there. So then, I'm kind of wondering, how do I remove this water? Because there's a lot of water everywhere. So, an empty bucket doesn't work. It turns out you have to actually rename a bucket, which this world is kind of corrupted, so I can't actually rename it. So I had to rename it using an anvil, and this actually works. I can just simply remove the water this way, and it works pretty smoothly. So yeah, I'm just gonna quickly demonstrate this again because I thought of how cool it was. Uh, and it just boing, and it just splashes and acts like normal water. It's kind of surprising that it's like they've even implemented it to work with slime blocks. I mean, imagine if we had this in the actual game. And it's like not many people know about this as well, which is pretty odd since, you know, you just have to slash give yourself a water bucket, but it's kind of hard to find that. So I did some more testing around with kind of renaming items, and I found if you rename it to infinite, it actually gives you basically kind of an infinite water source area. So here, let me just place it right here, and you can see that it's just perpetually just water everywhere, and it's kind of overflowing. But it's like it's really realistic. So let me just empty that. You can see it all just kind of flows out like this. It's a little bit tiring to just use an empty water bucket and all this. So I hope that they change that. You can see it automatically refills itself in the center. So it's kind of hard to clean up. Because it's like you clean up one area and then it just comes back. But I just think it's a really cool just mechanic that I've enjoyed just kind of testing with. And you can see how far the water is spread with just placing that infinite water source there for a couple seconds, because that would be how actual infinite water sources work in Minecraft, if it was realistic, of course. And since yeah, I made this and put the infinite water source there, and this works, and it all looks pretty cool. So I'm just gonna quickly clean this up and then try and fill up this little crater that I have here. Alright, so just cleaned up that area, and it does take a while to actually clean it up. And sadly sponges don't work on it, so it does kind of take a while. But I don't want to leave the water just sitting there. So I can actually show you a kind of time-lapse of it working by filling in this kind of like pond area here. Yeah, this is a crater that's been left here before. I just kind of added this addition to kind of fill it up. So yeah, here we go into the time-lapse. Well, looks like that's pretty much all filled. You can kind of see that there's some visual bugs, but just seeing this work has been really cool to see. It's like, imagine if this was actually implemented into the survival, or the just the normal gameplay. Imagine trying to create a water stream with realistic water. But yeah, just kind of a cool thing that I found, and I thought I'd share with you, as I haven't like seen any videos on this realistic water in Minecraft. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye. Don't show this. This is not a thing that you should be seeing. There we go. Secret. Oh, that's a cut. Man, this is really killing my computer. I can probably take off the texture pack now. Whew. It's just armor stands. Man. Look at that. uh, Pretty funny. What, what are you still doing here? No, you weren't supposed to see this.